Hey guys, Florida Real Estate Sales Associate course, Chapter 15. The pointers. Sorry, I wasn't open to it. Okay, Chapter 15, appraisal. Price is the amount actually paid in a real estate transaction. It was, nonetheless, the amount the buyer was willing to pay and the amount the seller was willing to accept. Liquidation value is the value of a failing business that is not expected to continue. Principle of substitution recognizes that no one will pay more for a property than the amount necessary to acquire an acceptable substitute. The principle is the basis for all mathematical methods used by appraisers to estimate value. Principle of regression applies when a higher priced property is constructed in an area of lower priced properties. The higher priced property will regress in value towards the level of the less expensive properties in the area. It's principle of regression. Highest and best use analysis. The property is analyzed to determine the highest and best use of the site as vacant and the property as improved. The highest and best use as vacant is used to establish the value of the site based on how the site should be used rather than on how it is being used. The property is analyzed again considering any improvements that are presently on the site. This assists in determining whether the present value is the best use or if an alternative should be considered to maximize the value of the land and improvements of the property value. Alternatives include renovation or possible removal. 3 approaches to value. Comparable sales approach. Comparable sales approach. The comparable sales approach is a real estate market speaking through past sales and is a direct application of the principle of substitution, which is what all appraisal is based on. Principle of substitution, that nobody would pay more for something that is effectively the same. The principle of substitution states that if a similar comparable properties are available for sale, the one with the lowest price will attract the greatest demand. Adjust the comparable sales price. The comparable properties will not be exactly the same as the subject property. Adjustments to the sales price of the comparable properties are made to allow for differences between the comparable and subject properties. Adjustments are always made to the comparable property, never to the subject property. The subject property sets the standard for comparison. The price of comparable properties must be adjusted to reflect the characteristics of the subject property. The price at which a comparable property was sold is a known fact. The value of the subject property is unknown and cannot be adjusted. If the subject property is superior to the comparable property, the comparable sales price is adjusted upward. If the subject property is inferior to the comparable property, the comparable sales price is adjusted downwards. Cost depreciation approach. The cost depreciation approach is based on the principle of substitution. Again, estimate the cost to replace or reproduce the main improvement using one of three different methods. Quantity survey method, unit of place method, and unit of comparison method. A unit of comparison method is a cost per square foot or per cubic foot of an entire building. This figure is multiplied by the number of square feet or cubic feet in a subject building to estimate the cost of the subject. Physical deterioration is any loss in value due to normal wear and tear from use, negligence, or aging of the building. Examples include broken windows, deteriorated roof shingles, faded or peeling paint, worn carpeting, and so on. Functional obsolescence is a loss in value due to the failure of a property to meet current consumer preferences due to changes in building design or standards. A structural deficiency or excess affects consumer preferences, which in turn affects value. For example, a home with structural deficiencies such as inadequate lighting, outdated fixtures, lack of central heating or air conditioning, 1 bathroom in a 4-bedroom home, or an inefficient floor plan all affect demand and consequently value. An overimproved property also suffers from functional obsolescence since it will not sell in the market for the amount invested. External obsolescence is a loss in value caused by factors beyond the boundaries of the subject property. Cost depreciation approach may be the only approach available to estimate the value of special purpose facilities such as schools and churches. So special purpose facilities are valued with the cost depreciation approach. Income capitalization approach. This approach is based on the appraisal principles of substitution and anticipation. There are 3 types of operating expenses: Fixed expenses do not change with occupancy levels. Examples of fixed expenses are property taxes and hazard insurance. Variable expenses change with occupancy levels. Examples of variable expenses are maintenance, utilities, trash removal, janitorial expenses, and management fees. Management fees, I just felt like Jess from New Girl. She does that quite often, especially when she's going out with Nick. Management fees are usually based on a percentage of the effective gross income. Reserves for replacements are funds set aside annually to replace short-lived items. Short-lived items are those components that wear out and must be replaced before the end of the economic life of the building. Included are things such as stoves, refrigerators, carpets, roof covers, and so on. Operating expenses do not include mortgage payments, tax depreciation, capital improvements, personal expenses unrelated to operation of property, and income taxes. These are ownership charges, not property operating expenses. Sales price over gross rent equals gross rent multiplier. That's the alternative income capitalization approach. And that's it. We are done for chapter 15. Thank you all for watching. I'm fully aware that probably no one is going to watch these videos. So thank you, imaginary people who are watching this video.